Let's continue with the topic of discussion with Stiglitz. I'm sorry if I mispronounce his name, but I was just wondering. The last time I made a point that the key benefit of introducing demand. I'm not the demand deterministic. No, I really look at the big pictures of both demand and the supply, and both the institutions and the market. I have nothing against the institutions. I'm just saying that at this point, it may be better off to let the market kind of a compete, debate, fight against each other. And then, because the institutions and the laws and the rules of games, they are more like a passive. They wait when the dust settle down, and then we can do a better job in having institutions. And then going from there, and then we can do a better job for the long term for the sustainability development of AI. But the key point is that you want to look at the supply and the demand, not just because it's so easy to look at the supply side because the suppliers, they are on the stages and everybody else is like on the in the audience, and then it's easy so for us to look at the stages and forget about the audience because like I said, I used the metaphor that the real life supply and demand, they are more like a symphony. However, the very big difference is that the symphony is not playing predetermined script or music note. They are constantly changing their notes, changing their music, changing the players, and then quickly in response to how the demand side want and the need. So it's more exciting, more real, more dynamic than any symphony in the world. That's the reality that we are facing. Okay. Now the point that I want to make this video is mainly you have to look at the inside supply side and the inside the demand side, and then you found out the diversity because diversity is the beauty. Why is diversity beauty? Because diversity brings the uncertainty, and having uncertainty is a beauty. Okay, because no party can rest assured that they will take complete control. So just like in China, the government will always take control. It's boring. It's not dynamic. It's static, and it's actually make them riskier. What if the Xi Jinping died or Xi Jinping was assassinated by somebody, and then, so this kind of thing looks like you have a certainty, but having too much certainty, it's not a good thing. It's a bad thing. So let's look at the supplier side. This is very important. When you look at the supplier side, they're not monolithic. They're not like a piece of rock. Everybody's supply side on the supply side, it's the same. No, that's not the case. You have to look at the diversity among the supplier. There are a few things that we already seen that clearly. Number one is that we have companies like Anthropic. They are emphasizing the safety of the AI. There is no sign to show that they are having the maximization of a profit as the only goal. I don't think that that's the case. Okay, so that's why this time they fight against the Pentagon when Pentagon asked them to do. And what is even more beautiful is that afterwards, that means that we have what happened after Anthropic said no to Pentagon, and then OpenAI said yes to Pentagon. And what an interesting thing happened is that basically overnight, the users, we have a movement called like a CancelGPT or something like that, and then we have the user. This active users that is increased like almost 300% on the Anthropic. So you might don't need to. There's no need to worry about Anthropic losing the big business and then that will be that. No, you don't need to worry that. Why? Because other companies, they all showed support. And then also consumers, they all showed support. So that's why that's the thing that you basically that's what we seen that what we have seen is that you lose some, you win some. Okay, you lose the Pentagon, but you win the even probably potentially even bigger market. Okay, and of course this we're not over yet because Anthropic decided to take it to the court to, so I really think they should. Okay, but anyway, even if they lost the Pentagon, it's not the end of the day for them. So that's one example that at the institutional level, at the company level, not every there's no sign to show that every AI suppliers with the maximization of a profit as their number one or the only goal. That's not the case. Okay, and then if you look at it further, you see that the employers inside those companies, you know, I've read an interview uh, with the Anthropic CEO. He was basically saying that inside his company, quite a few guys was offered a signing bonus by the Meta, and basically it's a 9-digit offer. But the CEO said it very clearly and nicely. He says that we are here for a mission, not the money. And then just because you happen to get some offer that we're not gonna give you the matching salary because that won't be fair to the other guys. And then so it ended up only like two decided to leave, and then the rest of the people stay. Why? Because you cannot duplicate the culture, you cannot duplicate the mission. Okay, and that's something that you cannot buy for sure. And then the other side is that at the institutional level, at the player level, we have open sources. Like a DeepSeek and then OpenClaw. They're all both open sources. Open source means that they don't want to take a monopoly just because they've developed some algorithm. And then they want to benefit from it, exclusively benefit from that. Then that's all those signs to make you feel like it's very this is it's not I want to emphasize that the market correction, it's not automatic, meaning that if the supply and the demand side, the interaction, if supplier become too much power, demand side, they might fight it back. But that correction, it's not automatic. But when we look at the U.S., I have more confidence that the U.S. market will play out. Why? Because we have a lot of people thinking about the missions. We have a lot of people thinking about equity, inequality. It's already in people's mind. So we don't need to look after them and say, hey, you guys, you should do the worry about the inequality because it's already in their mind. Okay, and then the other thing is that the diversity helps shield the our suppliers to have the exclusive profit. So that's one thing. Now let's look at the demand side. We also have a diversity. Demand is we have, obviously the most easiest way to divide the consumer is that, we have advanced users, like people like Zach Shapiro's, they're very advanced, they're very smart, they can actually come out with a lot of proactive prompt. And then that will be, they will continuously play a very active role for the future innovation on the demand side. Okay. And then the next one, we have a middle people, stay in the middle, but then we have a laggard. But even the laggard also play an active role because they force the suppliers to think differently to how to get them on board. So that's that kind of thing. You may not see that in China, but it's in the US, it's very real. You may think that the U.S. is people are hopeless. They don't like innovations. We wish that every country will be like the Chinese or China. But in the long run, that's actually a good thing because it keeps you to follow a more balanced development. Okay, and in the future, I would think that um, the hope is that the supplier gets so strong, gets so powerful, they will have the resources to change themselves, to adapt themselves for different consumer sectors. So even in the future, even the laggard may be converted into active users. And then when everybody is thinking about using AI, especially in the future, we may have an agentic AI. Then you have a power in your hand. But let's think about this. Human beings will be. That's why I talk about the H to H economy versus H to A economy. H to H means human to human. H to A means the human to AI. So I would think that in the future, H to H sector will still play a very active role because humans are very good at two things at least. One is that human interaction. There'll be more human interaction anywhere, anytime. People can talk to each other anywhere, unexpectedly in any unlikely place and time. They still do that. And then the second thing is that the human creativity. It's always, in general, will be better. Why? Because we have a human specific demand that a machine does not have. So, for example, let me give an example that we in the future, human beings like sex, like to have sex, right? However, human beings don't like to have a baby. I mean, well, some people like, but giving birth is a big burden. Imagine how many people, how many men get develop some infidelity to their wife when the wife is pregnant. We have a few guys who's like, you know, like Vander Beek, right? When his wife is having a pregnant, he's always around. So, but a lot of people they may not have that fidelity. So, but in the future we might have the AI may make it easy to have a tube babies, okay, and also we may have like a humanoid to take care of all the pregnant mother at home instead of going to hospital. So this kind of thing, I'm just to give you the example that in the future, the human unique, not machine doesn't have it. Those kind of unique demand will be pushing the AI development to be better and faster. There's no reason for us, especially in the US, to be pessimistic. So look at the positive. Let's stop here.